Come on in, sit back and relax. You're listening to the WealthTech Today podcast. I'm your host, Craig Iskowitz, founder of Ezra Group Consulting. This podcast features news, analysis, and interviews on the trends and best practices all around wealth management technology. My guest today was Dan Zitting, CEO of Nitrogen. Prior to Nitrogen, Dan had a long career in enterprise SaaS sales, managing a number of different companies that were very successful and had some exits. He worked for a company called workpapers.com, the first true cloud software for audit and compliance management. Then he led a company called Galvanize, which was overseeing growth into the industry recognized leader globally in GRC. And Galvanize was ultimately acquired by Diligent in a billion-dollar transaction that created the world's largest company in GRC software. And from there, Dan moved over to Nitrogen, and he has been published in Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, and many other business publications. Now, in our discussion, we had a lot of things to talk about. We covered, of course, what's going on with some new Nitrogen products. We talked about the industry a little bit. We talked about their advisor growth survey, which they have just released. So we got some good insights from that. We talked about the challenges around sales enablement and how the industry's been slow to adopt the concept. We talked a bit about AI marketing trends, and we talked about data and integration, which is a critical piece of anybody's roadmap. And speaking of data, when it comes to making critical decisions, are you still using fragmented data from legacy systems? Here at Ezra Group, we help wealth management firms turn their data chaos into a competitive advantage. Our data warehouse solutions are built specifically for advisory businesses, integrating custodial feeds, portfolio management systems, CRM, and more into a single scalable source of truth. If you want to free your firm for exponential growth, you need to run, not walk to our website, ezragroup.com, and click the golden Contact Us button on the homepage. Whether you're building your first data warehouse or struggling with a bloated data lake that's become a liability, the experienced team at Ezra Group will help you design, optimize, and future-proof your data architecture. So don't let bad data hold your business back. Visit ezragroup.com and learn more about our data warehousing solutions. And now, a couple standard housekeeping chores. Please subscribe to this podcast, yada, 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 wherever you listen. Check out our sponsor, the Invest in Others Charitable Foundation at investinothers.org. Today is our annual gala up in Boston. Sorry, I'm missing that. And if you are a software vendor in our space, please register at our vendor portal at ezragroup.com/register so your integration scores are always up to date. And now, let's kick this thing off. Here we go. I am pumped to introduce my next guest. It's Dan Zitting, CEO of Nitrogen Wealth. Dan, man, glad to talk to you.
Well, likewise. I'm so excited to finally be on.
Yes, I'm excited as well. This isn't the first time you've been on since you took over the CEO of Nitrogen, is it?
This is the first time.
All right. Well, I'm sorry it took so long to get you on here, but we're happy to talk to you. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. You've been very busy since you took over as CEO of Nitrogen, and a lot of great stuff has been happening. But first of all, where are you calling in from?
I am at home today, which is in Lower Manhattan, right in downtown New York City.
Excellent. We got to get together. I'm in New Jersey. I'm just across the river.
Oh, yeah.
Central Jersey, but it's only an hour train ride to get into Penn Station. I was in the city yesterday. I'm in the town all the time. We'll have to get together for coffee.
Our little mini headquarters is in California, but our little mini office is across the street. So we'll see you next time you're in the city.
I will do that. I'm going to do, because that's the way I come in, Penn Station, all the time. Excellent, man. All right, so
feel free to drop in anytime you need a spot to work.
I will. Don't tempt me. Since WeWork closed down, I'm always looking for places to set up shop. Coffee shops with power are my Google Maps overlay, because every coffee shop has Wi-Fi, but getting power when you're mobile is hard, right?
Keep that overlay a secret, or you won't be able to find any spots with power.
That's right. Cool, man. All right, so everyone here knows Nitrogen, but for anyone who doesn't, lived under a rock the past 15 years, give us a 30-second elevator pitch for Nitrogen Wealth.
Yep. So if you don't know Nitrogen Wealth, you probably know Riskalyze, which was our former name. And what we do is we use the concept of risk to create a really simple and easy to understand, easy to engage discussion around how to invest fearlessly. And so we provide a set of tools that make advisor investing advice look great.
And it does. I mean, that's one of the big reasons when you first started, obviously long before you got there, was that risk tolerance was very boring, a backwater. No one really spent any time making it look good or turning it into a marketing tool. No one thought of that. It was just something we all had to do, so they did it. So I think that was a huge benefit to Riskalyze is making it look good and making advisors proud to show their clients the risk tolerance part of their business.
Yeah, I think that's right. A lot more engaging, a lot more engaging conversation, make the advisor look like a super pro for sure. But I think we also, we'd made a big step in the first, in progressing personalization. I think we were big on because you're old doesn't mean you're conservative. Because you're young doesn't mean you're aggressive. People are individuals. And what we do was something we call our original innovation called the risk number. I think really helps advisors personalize for investors that way and makes that a conversation that an advisor can do efficiently, even with mass affluent clients, but also make it a much more engaging and useful discussion, thus leading to advisor growth.
And speaking of advisor growth, you guys just released, or not just, but released a advisor growth survey, which I found some very interesting stats that I want to talk to you about. You want to talk a little about that survey, then we can jump in with what you think is the most interesting stat. Then I'll tell you what I think
I
is the most one.
I can't wait to hear what you think the most interesting stat is, Craig.
You want me to go first?
Please.
All right. So the one that I found most interesting was under organic marketing officially surpassed referrals. For the first time, 28% of advisors cited organic marketing, content, and SEO as their top lead source, edging out referrals and centers of influence at 24.5. So why do you think that's happening? And why is it just risk? Or is it just nitrogen clients that are doing that, or is it across the industry?
I would guess that the kind of client that will spend the money to buy a platform like ours in an effort to grow faster probably is a little bit more marketing inclined than perhaps the entire industry. But we have a really big base of clients, so I think it's got to be pretty representative.
How big
And
is
I
your base
think
now? What
there's
are you guys up to? If you don't mind sharing that stat.
yeah, for sure. It depending on exactly how you count, it's between 20 and 30,000 advisors. Um, it's quite a few clients.
Indeed. Yeah, that's a good size number. And
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that are interesting about that particular stat. So hopefully, as an industry, we are getting better at content marketing. But I think notionally, the idea of there a a digital experience of some sort having to exist before you ever first talk to the client is just a reality. So I was talking to one of our customers the other day who even expressed, referrals are different with especially perhaps generationally, even with a referral, it doesn't necessarily mean with younger clients in particular that they just come talk to me. It
mm,
means they're going to start Googling me or they're going to start chat GPTing me. So there needs to be content marketing, even if there's a referral before it truly becomes a lead.
but are you seeing advisors who are using your product? Is their organic growth through marketing growing? Is the rate increasing or decreasing or staying about the same?
The rate. So what I would say is I think those that are pushing it are growing, but overall in general, I think there's probably a similar sort of set a rate of overall leads. What's improving is conversion. And so what we the tools we provide, what it's intended to do is create a engaging digital experience where the potential client learns something, but then gives enough depth and enough richness that when that lead comes in the door, for example, having taken our risk questionnaire, there's actually something to talk about and dig in on real value from the first time you speak to that client. So that's where we look to think what we do is improving is actually in that conversion layer after the lead is first generated.
And that is a bit of a change that I think everyone noticed when you rebranded as Nitrogen, that you rebranded as a sales enablement platform. And I think a lot of advisors, at least certainly a lot of the clients that we deal with, didn't really understand what that meant. Now, other industries understand sales enablement, but our industry doesn't seem to, although they certainly need it. So has that been a hurdle for you educational wise to explain to clients, well, why do you need sales enablement and why are we calling it this?
It has very much been a hurdle for us. So I'm not sure from a pure business standpoint how much good that did us. But I do think that over the long haul, over the long term, I think hopefully it's useful education that hopefully we're providing to the market, because I do think it's exactly that. I mean, more fundamentally, um, is it really it's sales enablement? It is, but really what it is just personalization and depth in building trust. A more engaging conversation leads to more what we call ACAP 4 moments, right? The level of understanding that a client can feel based on having talked to you about how they specifically responded to the notion of risk, and put it in a package that's again easy to understand and easy to engage. Um, it's totally what it is a sales enablement tool, combined with being then down the road when things inevitably go wrong and we can go back and show, hey, remember when we talked about this up front? It's a sales enablement tool then backed up by ineffective client retention tool.
Indeed. And I noticed that your website, you've shifted a bit in terms of your messaging, that you have it as a platform to align risk, portfolio analytics, and retirement goals. So all those things are clearly related. You have very good products in all those areas. Um, how are you seeing that message resonate in the industry? And is that the way you're positioning it? Is that providing better results to your clients?
Yeah, what we the our platform has three core products. One around risk tolerance, one around investment research, and one around what we would call not comprehensive financial planning, more like
Light.
kind of light planning, retirement income planning,
Mm.
that sort of thing. Um, those three things are very closely related, but what the magic of Nitrogen is, underneath that is a really powerful set of analytics, a really great and professional looking reporting and kind of digital engagement layer, and a really brilliant proposal. And so, I think that's the magic, is saying, hey, yeah, um, these are easy to use tools that flow with how you like to plan and how you give advice, but most importantly, puts it in a package that's really easy to understand, really easy to engage in, and looks beautiful, has your brand colors, makes you look like the pro you are, compared to
Mhm.
going up to the street to their bank where they're going to get super generic advice and all sounds like a bank.
Exactly. And one of the other things I think you left out in that list is you guys have a very strong proposal generation uh, software application.
Yeah, that's right. So that's right. The proposal generation kind of underpins all of that, so that you can, whether it's based on investment research, based on the risk tolerance questionnaire, et cetera, that you can create the most beautiful and powerful proposal possible.
Indeed, and then it all relates, right? When you're nurturing the client, moving them along, you're then doing a portfolio for them, finding a model, getting the risk, and then nurturing them along, and then you need a proposal. So it all flows right naturally.
That's right. And yeah, exactly. And after they become a client, continue to engage, check in, see if we're drifting from the plan, and keep track of the client sentiment as they kind of live into what was proposed.
So I'm sure, as you know, I manage the Advisor Tech map with Michael Kitces, and
Hmm.
we just did in fact, 2 days ago, we did our August review for the applications going on to the map in August. And we, I think in July's map, we added back on the sales enablement category. It used to be called proposal generation, but when Nitrogen came out, when you guys launched, rebranded as sales enablement, we thought that was a great idea because it made a lot more sense. So we changed the proposal generation category to sales enablement. But just last month, we changed it to be proposal generation / sales enablement because no one knows what sales enablement is still. And it was confusing people.
It's interesting because, of course, I don't come from the wealth management industry originally, but I'm going on 20 years now in software. And I would say if I look back 20 years ago, we had the same issue in software. We thought sales enablement meant how do I hire uh, how do I go out and hire the best handshaker, baby kisser, quota killer kind of thing, before realizing that how do I extract engineering our sales process and saying how do we enable the firm to be successful in acquiring business became a whole exercise, a whole industry, a whole set of professions over the last maybe 10 years or so. And I'd say that's really just starting to seep into the wealth management firms, it seems to me, and really in the larger ones so far in particular.
Yeah, I mean, there are many firms, even the clients we work with, oftentimes will bifurcate their advisor teams into the hunter gatherers and the farmers. And some
Mm-hmm.
are just better at closing new business, and some are just better at nurturing or managing existing clients, growing wallet share, and keeping them happy.
Interesting indeed. Yeah, fitting the same trend as in many other industries, right? We've split sales from account management for exactly that same reason. I think what going back to the growth survey and the stat you brought up earlier on, no matter how good a hunter gatherer you are, I think the content marketing is what
Mm.
is creating the place to do that in a world filled with frankly in a world filled with spam, right?
Indeed. Yeah, it's only going to get worse. I mean, there's so many, as I mentioned, Michael and I are constantly reviewing new products, and every month it's 8 to 10 to 12 new applications. They don't all get on the map, but we have to review them every month. And there's so many new lead gen, AI driven lead gen applications coming out of the woodwork. Everyone thinks this is the greatest thing. No one's done this before the way we want to do it. We know AI can do better lead gen. And what they're doing is just flooding the market. And every advisor is going to have these AI tools just monitoring for any sniffling of money. You got anything that happens in your life that means money, you're going to just get flooded with emails. And as you mentioned, it's all going to become spam, no matter how well written it is.
Yeah, I can imagine how many you guys see because I feel like I see one a
Mm.
week that is, hey, we take moments of money moving and turn them into leads. A number of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, we sold software company I was involved in. I'd hate to see how now an
Mhm.
event like that, how many of the same sounding pitches I got that were all written by the same AI from
Yeah.
from from different people. So I would indeed encourage to I think what we find in the tools we try to provide to help with content marketing is it's a lot about listening and asking, or as much about listening and asking as building and pushing messages. So I hope that a lot of these tools will aim towards that. How do I create a moment for me as the advisor to get the opportunity to ask questions and listen and turn that into conversion as opposed to purely push messaging.
I think anyone who uses AI on a regular basis can tell when an email has been written by AI and not edited. Right? You can tell right
Uh,
away
it,
when it starts off like this, they just wrote with AI, didn't bother reading it, and just hit send.
that's totally right. And going back to the same growth survey we talked about earlier, for years now, when we ask the question, what's the most important factor to investors when choosing a financial advisor? Trust and personal support has always
Mm.
has always been the top factor, and in fact, beating out investment track record and performance history.
Mhm.
So I think for exactly that reason, I hope that AI will help us sort of give us as the advisor superpowers to
Mhm.
be more of us
Yes.
not sort of bring us all to the mushy middle, so to speak.
Yeah, and because people can tell, right? I mean, there's an old joke about how to succeed in business. That authenticity is the most important thing for success in business. If you can fake that, you got it made, right? And that's what we're seeing.
That's
That AI is
that,
allowing people to fake being authentic.
we just we Hulk Hogan just passed away the other day, and my 8-year-old son is getting into professional wrestling, Craig,
Ah,
as 8-year-old boys tend to do.
mhm.
And he was asking who Hulk Hogan was, so we watched a YouTube clip, and he said the thing that I thought resonated well in this respect. He says Hulk Hogan was Terry. His name's Terry. Hulk Hogan was just Terry with the volume turned up to 10. And so I hope these AI tools, in a lot of ways, take what make us individuals and make us a great, trustworthy, et cetera, advisor, and sort of just turn the volume up. Because I do think it's easy to get lazy and sort of like you were saying, I certainly see it when I get 20 email pitches a day in my
Mhm.
mailbox that I can tell every one of them was written with the free version of ChatGPT.
There you go. Oh, so now you got me. I want to tell a wrestling story. So I was also into wrestling, not that age. I think it was like 12 or 13, and I was watching the wrestling. But this is obviously much longer ago. I was talking to someone who's 10 years younger than me, and they were saying, "Oh, they loved Hulk Hogan, but 'cause that was their time when they were at that age." I'm like, I was before, like 10 years before that. So I was watching Ivan Putski and Bruno Sammartino and Andre the Giant, right? So, but not that I have any disrespect for Hulk Hogan. He's great, but I was at a whole different generation of wrestlers, right? And there you go, just how things change. All right, so let's keep going. We're about halfway done. And another part of the survey that I thought was interesting, marketing budgets remain conservative despite the shift. More than half of firms spend less than $10,000 annually on marketing, even though organic content strategies are delivering higher ROI than before. So that doesn't make sense. If you're seeing your content strategies delivering higher ROI, why aren't they spending more on it?
I don't understand this either. And again, this is perhaps a parallel in where I come from an industry perspective, but it's not uncommon. Those of us that sell tech, we're a lot like advisors. We effectively sell a subscription service that, as long as you trust and use us, we continue to get paid. Um, in our business, we do calculations that we talk about called like lifetime value of a customer. So based on how well we retain customers, we have a track record of keeping 90 some percent of our customers. How long is a customer typically with us? It'll be for X number of years. Multiply that by what the fees are per year, you get the lifetime value. And we compare that really closely to what we spend on sales and marketing. And the similarity in those business models make it seem crazy to me that we don't spend more
Mhm.
on sales and marketing as advisory firms. So as a comparison point, again, in a tech software company, we will spend anywhere between 25 and 40% of our revenue on sales and marketing. And of course, that doesn't pay off right up front, but when you retain customers for a long period, the model works better, is lucrative because of the lifetime value. And why I don't go to conferences and hear that sort of
Mhm.
perspective on lifetime value, and therefore what it would be sensible to spend on sales and marketing seems crazy to me. But to your point, and to your point, just not spending more on it when I think a existing digital presence is more important than ever, just to even see a lead hit the top of the funnel,
Mhm.
I don't personally understand.
I think one reason might be that advisors feel that paying lead gen companies is enough. They don't need to do marketing, that the lead gen firms are doing it for them.
Yeah, and I, I again come back to um, how well those work. I don't, how well they really work in the end. I don't know, but my suspicion is that they work a lot better when paired with a a thoughtful marketing program on behalf of the advisor that puts online and otherwise gives the full presence of who we want to be for our clients, so that even if a lead gen firm generates a lead, they see who we are, what we're about,
Mhm.
and have built trust, some level of trust and credibility before the first conversation ever actually happens.
Ezra Group works with a lot of broker dealers and RIAs, and we have a lot of RIA clients. And I've seen some spending six figures per month on lead gen, but
Mm.
their close rate is single digits. Right.
Uh,
So they're
and coming back to the question earlier about why is sales enablement important, I think you just described it.
yeah. So, but I think they don't see that connection. That why are they that they think, well, a single digit close rate is just normal. They're making enough money to cover their costs, and then they see the lifetime value of a client as being enough, but they could probably double, triple their AUM if they could just increase that conversion rate.
Yeah, that's interesting. And surely, thoughtful content-based marketing that engages the client, asks them questions, et cetera, would be a big driver in change. It certainly is for our clients that do it around, in our case, the conversation around risk tolerance and what would make you a fearless investor.
Indeed. All right, I want to shift gears. We're almost out of time. A couple more things I wanted to run by you, Dan.
Great.
Integration score. Yeah, Nitrogen has always been a leader in integrations. Even before at Ezra Group, we launched our WealthTech integration score in 2022, which I have to admit, I got the not the I got the idea from the Riskalyze score that we needed a score for integrations, and that's how he came up with it. Obviously, it's a
Nice.
completely different score, but the idea of scoring something in a simple 1 to 10 scoring methodology to make it easy to understand, I got the inspiration from Nitrogen. So thank you, and
Very cool.
royalty check on the way. And but your score, you've always been a very strong integration. Your score is 8.74, which puts you in the number one in sales enablement category, but also you're number one in the risk tolerance category, which you're also in. So talk a little bit about integration, and is it still important to you guys, and how do you see it driving growth?
Super important. So we are very big believers in playing nice in the sandbox. I go back to, I think Microsoft became the company it is today, frankly, when Satya Nadella took over and said, instead of having the super closed ecosystem that was Microsoft Office and Windows, we are going to embrace the broader world of tech, integrate deeply with everything from Linux to on up the line, and all it's done is unlock a ton of value from the trillions of dollars of value for Microsoft since. I believe we're just a microcosm of that, and I think there is a big desire on behalf of financial advisors to curate their tech stack and work the way their business wants to work, and we should play the right role within that. So, big believer in integration, even where we might be integrating with things that's functionality we have in the product. I think it's still super important, and sort of if it generally, if it's good for the customer, it's good for us, and we'll better unlock value over time.
I agree totally. So I want to throw a curveball at you, Dan. I want to talk a little bit about AI because it's a law. You have to talk about AI in every podcast, or else they won't let me on. But I don't want to talk about what everyone else is talking about. I want to talk about something that I wrote about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was, will technology, it wasn't AI at the time, replace risk tolerance? And that um, is it do clients really understand when they're answering the questions what the answers mean? Are they just trying to respond to what they think what the advisor wants them to say? Do they understand that that's what the risk tolerance means, even when you've good illustrations? But would it be better, more accurate, for an AI to go in, scrub through their social media posts, everything they said when the markets were up, when they were down, go through every one of their transactions if they are self-directed or not, what they did when the market was up, when the market was down, and then use that data to generate a risk tolerance for them? Wouldn't that be more accurate? And is that something you're looking at?
I would make the so first of all, yeah, yes, I think there's an enormous opportunity here. Social media posts is an interesting one, but how about just scrubbing the conversations that you've had with
Mhm.
them over the years? Whether that's from meeting notes notes or things you've put in CRM or whatever else. I think there is definitely a big opportunity to say, to if I can put it this way, sort of shadow score what the client told us, to see if that really does fit. Because what we find, and that's why we built a feature called check-ins, is down the road, sometimes we find the investor can get fearful in a scenario that's much different or less severe or whatever else, than what they suggested in their risk tolerance questionnaire. So I suppose that's all a long-winded way of saying yes to your curveball. There's a big technology opportunity here, and of course, as the risk tolerance leaders, we think we're very well positioned to make light of that opportunity.
And Dan, we are just out of time. I wanted to do a little pitch for you. Nitrogen's summer product release is coming out, and they're doing a webinar August 20th. You can go to the website and register for it, and you can hear about some of the new products. One of the things I'm most interested in, we don't have time to talk about it, but your AI meeting center. Interesting. So if you want to hear about that, you need to sign up for this webinar at nitrogenwealth.com.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's going to be great. We do a product launch every quarter. The summer one is a big one indeed, and we're super excited to talk about AI meetings for sure. And if I may, I'll also just add that if you like our product launches, you'd love our Fearless Investing Summit, which is our big annual conference and comes next winter in February.
Yes, I will be there. I have not missed one. Just so you know, I've been to every one. I think there've been 7 or 8. And
a flawless track record. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you. Well, then thank you for being on the podcast for the first time. Congratulations. You're no longer a rookie.
Feels great to be a veteran.
That's right. Great. Thanks, Dan.
Cheers. Thanks, Craig.
Hey, it's Craig again. Here are my top 3 takeaways from this episode. One, from their survey, organic marketing, 28% has surpassed referrals, 24% as a top lead source for advisors. Very interesting. Marketing budgets remain low despite shifts to digital-first strategies. 50%, more than half, are spending less than $10K annually. Nitrogen emphasizes personalization and engagement to improve lead conversion rates. And AI is presenting opportunities to enhance risk tolerance assessment and client interactions. All right, you've made it to the end of another episode of the WealthTech Today podcast. Thanks for listening. But before you go, please head to our website, ezragroup.com, and scroll to the bottom of the homepage and sign up for our newsletter. Once a month, you receive an email chock full of wealth management goodness, news, information, and updates. You will not be disappointed. Thanks again for listening, and talk to you all again next time.